All the brothers jump on. Smash that like button. I like StreamYard, man. Esau gonna figure out we on StreamYard. They be following us now.
He gonna figure every goddamn thing out until his ass gets destroyed.
Yeah.
Ooh. Are we live?
Yes, sir. We are live. I'm just sending it out real quick. Oh, okay, brothers on that bad boy. Sisters on there too. Shalom, Akim. Shalom.
Shalom.
First off, man, we want to call halal Yahweh, by Hashem Yahawashi, by Hashem Rakahab Kajash. We want to send double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. We want to send peace and salutations to you brothers and sisters out there pushing this word, fighting for this truth, fighting for the next outcome, which is the kingdom of heaven. All right, the kingdom of Yasha Allah, which is going to be ushered in when Yahawashi cracks those clouds and the chariots and the holy host. All right, and as y'all see, I'm with the esteemed elder Yashawamba. I'm the brother Ariala. You know, we here. We wanted to talk, man. You know, I think a lot of times we talk about the destruction. A lot of times we talk about the downfall of the kingdom. And me and Yashawamba today, we wanted to talk about what we actually hope for the next day to come. And when you read in the scriptures, one of the best ways to kind of get an idea of what we're hoping for is to look into King Solomon's kingdom. And it's definitely one of the best reads you can have in the scriptures. If you ever want to really, really feel good about our forefathers, you can go into the book of Kings and get a glimpse of just a similitude of things like it says in the book of Hebrews. Okay.
Right.
So we wanted to touch on this today, go into a little bit of history, go into a little bit of prophecy. And of course, we'll be checking the comment boards for you brother scriptures. We're just gonna add layer onto layer, and Lord willing is edifying.
Right.
You have any opening statements?
Nah. I mean, you know, King Solomon, you know, like the elder is going into, you know, he's a prelude. He was basically symbolic of what's going to happen under Yahawashi. And man, when you go into the story, like the elder says, man, it's invigorating, man. It's not invigorating, but it's a beautiful story, and it should, you know, it's basically, you know, man, when you look at it, man, I mean, when you find out how much he had and what he was, you know, what he stood for, and the fact that it was wisdom, all right, that got him there, it's a beautiful story, and ultimately he read it also. That was the last time all 12 tribes were together. You know, after you know, he fell, of course, the kingdom was rent, you know, and what Yahawashi is coming to do is gather all 12 tribes back together again, you know, which is how we know the people over there proclaiming to be the chosen people aren't. You know, Yahawashi is going to bring us all back together as one, you know, all 12 tribes on one stick. You know, so that's the beauty of what Yahawashi is coming to do, you know, to set up a government. We were sovereign under Solomon, you know, under Yahawashi, we're going to be sovereign, but in a whole nother fashion. So you got it, brother.
Yeah. So we talk about, a lot of times we talk about King David, and, you know, King David, you know, is known for how being mighty and being able to conquer the heathen. We talk about the house of David and the process of taking down the Gentiles and putting them under subjection. But we also have to talk about King Solomon and that peace that reigns. And that's what Yahawashi is coming to do.
Right.
You know, that house of David is going to be established and the tribes are going to come together. So, I want to open up, as you brothers and sisters can see, we are here in the book of Genesis, because I wanted to start here because this was the full intention of the Heavenly Father when we came here. The Most High had Yahawashi created as the only begotten, and the Holy Host was created with him. And when we were put on the planet Earth, this was the mindset the Most High had. So I want to read Genesis chapter 1, verse 24 on down. It says, and the Most High said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle, and creeping thing, and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so. So that's when man was created along with all the other living creatures on the earth. Okay. It says, and the Most High made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And the Most High saw that it was good, or the Elohim saw that it was good. And Elohim said, "Let us make man in our image." All right, that's another study topic. Is that word God? It says, "And God said," knowing that it was Elohim in Hebrew, because it was the angels. Said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So the Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of the Most High created he him, male and female created he them. And the Most High and the Elohim Salak blessed them, and the Elohim said unto them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth." Okay. So now when you're reading this part in the scripture, you see that there's an intention of rulership over the Heavenly Father's creation. That was the full intention of the sons of God. The sons of God were set to rule on how the water went, how the fish went, how the trees went, how the ground is tilled, or how the birds fly, how other men on the earth are supposed to interact with each other, how we do and track everything within the creation. The sons of God were meant to dominate and have dominion over it. But there was a prerequisite. And King Solomon came and showed that prerequisite. And that prerequisite was wisdom, righteousness, the way of life. Right? And that's what we're fighting for right now. For the Holy Spirit to be poured into us, and for us to naturally follow the will of the Heavenly Father, the way of immortality. For the way of immortality to be second nature within us, so that we can reproduce immortality into the earth. That's because right. When you look at the earth is like an immortal vessel. It just replenishes itself. The seasons start all the way over, how the birds and the trees and everything, your body itself is supposed to naturally regenerate. Right. You have something?
No, I'm saying like cells.
Yeah.
Made to continue and continue and continue and continue, genes and stuff like that, you know?
That's right, man. Things were made to replenish itself, and there's a way to live within that, okay? So when we skip over to, you mind pulling that Wisdom of Solomon 9?
Yep, I got it here.
Yes. All right, so let's pull that real quick.
This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9 and 1. O God of my fathers and Lord of mercy, who has made all things with thy word, and ordained man through thy wisdom, that he should have dominion over the creatures which thou hast made.
Now, there's a couple of things when we read this scripture. Just these two verses can be like 18 videos, because it says that he made all things through thy word. So where can you take that in the scripture? You can take that in the whole topic with YAHAWASHI when you read John 1 and 1, and take that back to Genesis 1 and 1. Right. And talk about how YAHAWASHI represents that word. But the key that we want to talk about is verse 2. Do you mind reading verse 2 again?
And ordained man through thy wisdom, that he should have dominion over thy creatures which thou hast made.
Boom. So because we live within the word, we live within the wisdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, dominion is given. And that's what happened to King Solomon. Because what did he pray for? What scripture is that where he say where he prayed for wisdom?
Well, this is actually more insight to it here.
Yes, this is actually goes directly into that.
Into it, right? This chapter, Wisdom of Solomon, the 9th chapter, is actually goes deeper into what he actually prayed to the Heavenly Father. But I'll look for it in a minute to actually where it is, and this is in King somewhere.
Yeah. But brother know what we're talking about. Pull that up and post it on the comment board, Baba Kusha. So these brothers are sharp. They'll put it up there.
Right.
Let's keep reading.
It says, "An ordained man through he should have dominion over thy creatures." So, brothers, when you're talking about the kingdom of heaven, you're talking about more than multiple wives. You're talking about more than, whatever, because we're gonna get, our just due, Lord willing, if we're those men. But you're gonna have dominion over the Lord's creation. You see, and that's what we're gonna get into with King Solomon. He had the Lord's creation in abundance, man. He was running a highly functional business. The kingdom of heaven is going to be a business. You see, it's not just going to be no low level. We're not going to be floating around in the sky. What we're talking about is using the wisdom from on high, on earth as it is in heaven, and ruling with that wisdom on earth, man. And Solomon's kingdom gave you a prelude to that for 40 years with only a piece of the earth. All right. So it says, Wisdom of Solomon 9:3, "And order the world according to equity and righteousness, and execute judgment with an upright heart."
Boom. He ordered everything according to equity and justice, man. That's what the world needs right now. Because of the lack of the wisdom and knowledge of YAHAWASHI being utilized to rule this current world, look at the chaos that's being produced. Right. And you can read about that in the book of Isaiah, the 24th chapter. Right. But this is the opposite. This is a glimpse of how prosperous the world can be whenever the world is ruled in righteousness.
That's right. Okay? That's right.
Okay.
Want me to keep going? "Give me wisdom that sitteth by thy throne, and reject me not from among thy children. For I, thy servant and thy son of thine handmaid, am a feeble person, and of a short time, and too young to understand, too young for the understanding of judgment and laws. For though a man be never so perfect among the children of men, yet if thy wisdom be not with him, he shall be nothing regarded. Thou hast chosen me to be a king of thy people, and a judge of thy sons and daughters. Thou hast commanded me to build a temple." And we can apply this a lot to what we're doing here, man.
That's right.
We're using the wisdom he sent the wisdom from on high, and we're using that wisdom to build this temple, man. It says, "Thou hast commanded me to build a temple upon thy holy mount, and an altar in the city wherein thou dwellest, as a resemblance of the holy tabernacle, which thou hast prepared from the beginning."
Boom. Then there goes prepare from the beginning, just like what YAHAWASHI said. And that's a precept to link in those two figures in the scripture.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Briefly, I want to go and pull the scripture that we mentioned, GMS Salt, the water, put 2 Chronicles 1:11. And it says, "And the Most High said to Solomon, because this was in thine heart, and thou hast not asked riches, wealth, or honor, nor the life of thine enemies, neither yet has asked long life, but has asked wisdom and knowledge thyself, that thou mayest judge my people over whom I have made thee king."
Right.
Verse 12 says, "Wisdom and knowledge is granted unto thee, and I will give thee riches and wealth and honor, such as none of the kings have had that have been before thee." So he was going to be on a whole another level. "Neither shall there any after thee have the like." So nobody was going to have a kingdom like King Solomon until YAHAWASHI returns. And we've definitely seen that on the planet Earth. We've had the empires of the Babylonians. We have the empires of the Persians, the Greeks, the Romans, you know, all the way leading up into today, and nothing has been comparable in beauty and righteousness in the flow of King Solomon. Okay, because there's never been no peace. It's just been perpetual warfare ever since. Okay, did you have something?
Nah, you got it.
Okay, so if you don't mind, can you grab was there more on that you wanted to get?
Mm-mm.
Can you get Wisdom of Solomon 6 and 12?
Well, I'm gonna read this real quick.
Yes, sir.
Jump down to verse 17. It says, "And thy counsel who have known, except thou give wisdom, and send thy Holy Spirit from above. For so the ways of them which lived on the earth were reformed, and men were taught the things that are pleasing unto thee, and were saved through wisdom."
And was saved through wisdom, and that's coming back now. Now you see the nation of Israel rising up and coming underneath the understanding of the scriptures. Brothers are being reformed. The world is being reformed, and what's happening is there's a rebellion happening to this current system. This current system, death is basically being battled back against. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's why it's so important to continue to confess this word.
That's right. Right. Mm-hmm. Where you want me to start at in Wisdom of Solomon?
Wisdom of Solomon 6, verse 12.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 12.
Mind zooming in a little bit?
Zoom in. Oh, yeah. Hold up.
Y'all, Akim, let us know if y'all can. For the young brothers taking notes.
Is that better?
Yes, sir. That's way better.
That shit was far away. All right, it says, "Wisdom is glorious and never fadeth away. Yea, she is easily seen of them that love her, and found of such as seek her. She prevented them that desire her in making herself known unto them.
Mm-hmm.
Whoso seeketh her early shall have no great travail, for he shall find her sitting at his doors."
Right. And that's what we're the path that we're fighting for now, man. You know, because you're seeking out wisdom, stuff is just coming to you. Understanding is coming to you. The ways of righteousness is coming to you. What you should do and understanding is coming to you. Okay.
Right. Where am I at? To think therefore upon her is perfection of wisdom, and whoso watcheth for her shall quickly be without care. Mm-hmm. You think Solomon was worried in the height of that 40 years? He didn't have a worry, man. He was chilling. It says,
and because he knew what to do.
Right.
See, when you know the answer to the question, you don't have, you good, you're comfortable.
Right.
When you don't, when you like, I don't know, you're all frantic. People could come to King Solomon because the Most High blessed them with understanding and knowledge. People that know what's going on, when you got experience in something, you be chilling. You don't, it don't bother you.
Right. Right. Like you deal with a Christian in the scriptures, they get uncomfortable, but when we get into a debate on the scriptures, we're very comfortable, man.
Yep. Excited even.
Right. It says, "For she goeth about seeking such as are worthy of her." All right. "Showeth herself favorably unto them in the ways, and meeteth them in every thought. Mm-hmm. For the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, and the care of discipline is love."
Right. So the very beginning of gaining wisdom is discipline. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Usually refined by repeating something over and over again, reading, doing whatever, and then discipline is love. They say before passion, you have to have discipline in something.
Right.
Before you have love for something, like a basketball player, before they would just love basketball like that, well, they was in their bedroom bouncing the ball over and over and over again. They got disciplined in it first.
Right.
So before passion, there's discipline.
Right.
And wisdom.
Yep. Wisdom, the wisdom and the care of discipline is love. Love, man. And this is what we're bringing back to the earth. True love. Through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI, this world they don't know how to love. Everything needs love at the end of the day, man. Plants, the water, Okay, the fish, the animals, all right? And that's all fulfilled in the law, statutes, and commandments that will be written in us that we will go and implement in the planet Earth, man. We go show this world how to love the right way, man. You see, people get awards for creating bombs that destroy millions of people. Like you get an award or you're heralded as this great person. Well, what about life? And this is what we offer. This is what we're talking about through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI. And this is the part of the doctrine they won't really bring out. You see, they won't show us going into this. But want me to keep going?
Ooh, man, we got a bang. Pew, pew, pew. There's a banger on the comment board. Hold on, real quick.
Get it.
Yeah, your Harless, Judah, Israel. What they, man? Y'all gotta stop with these hard names, man. Your Harless, Judah. He put Sirach 27:9. The birds will resort to their like, so will truth return unto them that practice in her.
Mm-hmm.
That's that discipline.
That's right.
That discipline and that wisdom that create the Most High send it back unto you. Okay.
Right.
Beautiful right there. But I would like to continue because it's gonna get to the point here in Wisdom Solomon 6.
All right. Wisdom of Solomon 6:18. And love is the keeping of her laws, and giving heed unto her laws is the assurance of incorruption. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Because not following them, look at the corruption that is led to in the world, man. All right. It said, and incorruption maketh us near to God. Therefore, the desire of wisdom bringeth a kingdom.
The desire of wisdom bringeth a kingdom. And so this is what King Solomon prayed for. And that's why we're reading these scriptures right now to kind of just lead up into the point of why King Solomon's kingdom was just absolutely amazing.
Immaculate.
We want to go into it.
Right.
We want to lead into why did he have all this? It's because he sought wisdom first.
Right.
And that is the principal thing. All right. Wisdom and understanding.
That's right.
Okay. You want to keep reading?
Okay. It says, therefore, the desire of wisdom bringeth to a kingdom. If your delight be then in thrones and scepters, O ye kings of the people, honor wisdom that ye may reign forevermore.
Honor wisdom so you can reign forevermore. That's why he's going to put it in our inside parts. And because he puts it on in our inside, he writes the laws and understanding in our heart, and we put on that immortal clothing. What happens? We have an immortal kingdom. We have an eternal kingdom. That's
right.
why the scripture says forever, and then it says and ever.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be our kingdom.
Right.
Because the wisdom is the foundation.
Right. Right. That's right. You need wisdom to run a kingdom. You need wisdom to run a true family. A lot of brothers, like I say, when you think of the kingdom of heaven, you think it's going to be a Luke video, like brothers,
yeah.
But more so, we're going to use the true wisdom and be, administrators of righteousness more than anything. That's what I look forward to, cleaning the water, going through the process, because the Lord, he ain't going to snap everything back in one day. All right. He allow, those Elohim to actually rule on the earth. And what we did in Genesis, the first chapter, in creating everything, we're going to have 1,000-year period to put it all back in its proper perspective.
That's
and
right.
That's what we're going to, we're going to show you how Solomon's kingdom was a prelude to that, in a sense.
Yep. And we're not saying you're not going to pop bottles in the kingdom.
Oh, we're going to be a party.
You're going to have a ball. But you see, we're not going to have to escape. See, a lot of times what we see on TV and all this, it's an escape.
Right.
You're paying to escape your job reality. But when you got dominion,
right?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's gonna be a party. We're gonna show them how to party too.
That's
like
right.
We like a lot of the Israelite camps there. They like to be in mirth right now, which there's nothing wrong with mirth. We're not saying mirth is in itself is wicked, but the scriptures say there's a time for those things, and we're not in those times. That's not the image we want to promote. But yes, in the kingdom of heaven, we're gonna party, we go dance, we go sing.
But we're in a time of discipline.
We're in the time of discipline, you know, like you said. That's it. That's what the grace period was for discipline.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get this grace period to just party like it's 1999. This grace period was for us to understand that, damn, this is true life. Let me seek this. Let me get into this so that I can put off death, man, and overcome it.
That's right. That's right.
Want me to keep going?
Absolutely.
All right. It says, as for wisdom, this is Wisdom of Solomon 8:22. As for wisdom, what she is and how she came up, I will tell you, and will not hide mysteries from you, but will seek her out from the beginning of her nativity and bring the knowledge of her into light, and will not pass over the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Neither will I go consuming envy, for such a man shall have no fellowship with wisdom.
That's right. And then you can kind of read some of these proverbs and mindsets that you're reading here in the book of Ecclesiastes.
Yep.
Okay. Now I see brothers posting Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter, and that's why he made that comment here in Wisdom of Solomon 6:22, because basically from this point forward, he starts to just break down to you kingdom mindset and everything that he learned through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI as far as wisdom. Okay.
That's right.
And so, but the whole point of bringing this out is that the foundation of rulership and dominion, of gaining access to that, is wisdom. And with that, the Most High will shower unto you, or shower unto us through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI, glory and riches and, you know, all that.
Right.
All that. And we get a glimpse of that when taking a look into Solomon's kingdom.
Right.
Okay. Was there another point that you wanted to grab on that?
No.
Okay. So shoot, man, we like, you want to get into a little bit of history?
Yes, indubitably.
Indubitably. Okay.
Wisdom of Solomon. You want to go to that article? Did you want to go to
Yeah, let's go to that article, bro. Let's go into the article. I'll read it.
Okay.
I don't mind reading it. It makes me feel good to read it.
Okay.
Now, as you Akim know, we got 58 people on here. For brothers that have not been here very long, this is one of our favorite places to go for history. It's called ancient.eu. And literally you can go to this website and just type in a topic. Whatever. You could type in Babylon or type in whatever, you know, and it literally went to this and typed in Solomon, and there's several articles that they'll have on King Solomon. But this one right here talks about some of the components of his kingdom, and we can get these scriptures that kind of correlate to what we're going to read about here. Okay. So, brothers, I'm going to zoom in on that. Now, this right here is called, it's just, as y'all can see, Ancient History Encyclopedia, ancient.eu, literally just typed in Solomon. Okay. And it says, according to biblical tradition, King Solomon was the third and last king in the ancient United Kingdom of Israel. Yashawamba mentioned that earlier. It says other faiths such as Islam and Rastafarianism also embrace the notion of Solomon as a sagacious king and powerful prophet of Israel. He was renowned for his wisdom, his prolific writing, and his building accomplishments. Born in 1010 BCE, Solomon was the 10th son of King David, the second king of the ancient United Israel. So just to give, ancient United Israel was what? Saul. David is under David. It was basically expanded into the promised lands, but then it was controlled under peace through King Solomon. Okay.
Right.
It says, and you can read about that from 1 Samuel all the way through Chronicles and Kings. Okay. It says in the second son of Bathsheba, it says, like Like King Saul and King David, King Solomon reigned for 40 years in one of the highest and most prosperous periods in Israel's history, called by many the golden age of Israel. Okay. It says during his reign, Solomon controlled the trade routes coming out of Edom, Arabia, Africa, and Judea. He constructed an elaborate and profitable web of alliances, cemented by enormous assemblage of hundreds of wives and concubines. And we like to talk about this, the nature of marriage, the nature of concubinage, and how it was tied to expanding your house. It wasn't just about having some hoes.
Right.
Okay. There was a business to dealing with women and aligning yourself with other people's houses.
Right. Being fruitful and multiply is ultimately for business purposes first. Now, there is a joy that comes with it, but the true intent of being fruitful and multiplying is for family, which family is supposed to be the business. We're
That's
all
right.
crude here in Babylon the Great, but the true business is the family. That would be the need for a lot of wives and a lot of children. But kings were typically the ones that had more wives, because why? They had substance, they had enterprise, they had business, and under YAHAWASHI, the earth will be ours.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, there are pleasures that come with these things, and it's going to be an upgraded version. We ain't going to be in the kingdom doing it like we do here. It's going to be an upgraded version of everything. But the purpose of us being fruitful and multiplying, like he said, is for the purpose of business. And like he said, David had subdued all of these heathens. So what happens in the law when you subdue the heathen? Their women become yours. All right. And that's a concubine, which is a wife through servitude. All right. A wife through bondage. She doesn't get the same blessing as your Hebrew Israelite wife. However,
Right.
there, and she helps to forward. She's not a sex slave. She's helping. She's really there to help forward your enterprise as well.
That's right.
And she's handmaid to your actual wife and help them forward your business.
Right. She's actually she's coming in to help advance the overall enterprise that you got. And really, when you want to talk about your overall enterprise, your main business is your kids.
Right. Children.
Because through your children is your immortality.
Right.
You come back through them.
That's right.
The more you got out there, the more you got a chance to come back into some good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Right. Okay. Right. So your legacy and your lineage and your immortality, the Most High put it in your testes, which is really cool and to understand,
Right. I got a quick precept.
Yes, sir.
This is Psalms 127:3. Lo, children are an heritage of Yahweh, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are the children of youth. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them.
Woo!
He shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate. There you go.
Bro, that's a bad scripture, man.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
I know a lot of Jake think when we get in the kingdom, we're not going to reproduce. We're going to reproduce. It's going to be in a mightier fashion. As the scripture say, we know not what we shall be. All right. But we do know prophecy said that we're going to have offspring. We're going to reproduce, and one is going to become 1,000. So this will apply. You got it. You can put it back.
What's the scripture that talk about in thy seed?
That's actually Psalms 137. Let me get it real quick.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Psalms. Well, no, Ezekiel 37. I'm tripping.
It says in thy seed, because basically what you see, what King Solomon did was through these marriages and through concubinage, he was expanding his dominance by aligning these houses of these different kings in these other lands were combining with him. So he was gaining access to what? More trade routes. And what do trade routes do? Trade routes give you more dominion over the creation.
Right.
But that's why it talks about in Daniel with the Prince of Tyre. And now we understand that as an allegory to Esau today. Through thy wisdom and through thy traffic,
Right.
You have gotten the riches. Well, that's the nature of a kingdom.
Right.
Because when you are able to go into these different nations and control them, and they come in under these pacts, and they bringing everything unto you, and you building, well, man, you're making your kingdom more rich, and you're able to expand your influence and power.
Right.
Okay.
And we have to say this when we're going to get into Solomon's kingdom. Now we have to keep in mind, we'll pull up a map of just the lands that he conquered. Now we're going to go into some region. Yeah. See, Solomon only had a regions in the earth. Yahawashai will have the whole world. So when we go into some of these numbers and how he did it, just imagine Yahawashai's kingdom, man. But I have this for you in Isaiah 59:21. It said, as for me, this is my covenant with them, saith the Lord, my spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I have put in thy mouth, this is the fulfillment of the second covenant, shall not depart out of thy mouth, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, nor out of the mouth of thy seed's seed, saith Yahweh, from henceforth and forever.
Come on now. So the Most High is going to have this, have us be in a state of lineage, perpetual lineage, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like we say, name your great grandfather. Most of us can't. Why? Because he ain't have that.
Right.
You know, but you know King Solomon like him up.
Right.
You know these great men.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Well, Esau, you know, you go in these Edomites, when you look at these shows, they have pictures of Orwell, you know, Ned. It's like all of these, because they have substance, you know, they have a little substance. So, you know, we're going to do it all in righteousness though, man. But you can put it back to your screen.
Okay. Let me go back here. Brother Ahabamoth put Sirach 36:24. He that getteth a wife beginneth a possession, a help like unto himself, and a pillar of rest.
There you go.
That's what you're supposed to have, because your wife is supposed to naturally want to do that for your house. That's her, you know, she's like, okay, we're going to build this, you know, right. And that's what comes along with it. Okay. Brother's talking about the nature of a son here. GMS hold firm. Well, I guess that's supposed to be Barbados. It says, Sirach 30:4, though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he have left one behind him that is like himself. And, you know, you see your son act just like you, man. It feel good. You know, my son act just like me. I run around here boxing all the damn time. He run around here boxing all the damn time. I can't even get mad at him because I know he get it from me. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I sit down.
But it gets on your nerve, you know, you'd be like, damn, stop laughing, stop playing. You know, that's what I'm doing. Stop, bro. But it's like you have your own self, you know, through your son. It's beautiful though.
Yeah, it is. Oh man, it's funny to watch it. Okay, so let's get back to the skinny. Let's get back to the goods. Back here in this article, I'm just gonna finish this and then we'll skip down to the part that we were talking about. It says, you know, we talking about wives and concubines all day, can't we? It says, and he purportedly built the first temple of the Most High in Jerusalem, which was destroyed, along with the entire city of Jerusalem by the Babylonians in 586 BCE. It says, despite initial sovereign success, the end of Solomon's rule was marked by several insurrections and attacks from both foreign and domestic enemies, as well as disintegration of national and religious integrity because of cultural appeasements within Israel. And that's always been our part, mingling with the heathen. When the scriptures talk about mingling with the heathen, it's taking on their ways, taking on following their customs and their gods, idol worship, and leaving off from the wisdom of YAHAWASHI. Okay, we are set to stand on. All right, it says, which compromised and weakened the social fabric of the United Kingdom. Okay, did you have any points that you want to make on that? Okay, so I want to skip down.
Now, when you read up too, oh yeah, when you read up, it talks about how, you know, when he was in his rulership, you know, these nations were paying tribute, you know, to him.
Yep.
And it talks about the Queen of Sheba. We can get it later, but ultimately, you know, Solomon, man, we'll go into a few of those numbers, but he had a lot. He had abundance, you know.
Yeah, that's actually what I wanted to kind of. I
Right.
think down here in this part where it says features of Solomon's reign.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Yep.
I wanted to get into it. Okay. I'm gonna read it and then you can break it down if you want to.
Right. Okay. I
It
was
says,
trying to how much that those talents of gold were. I'm trying
man,
to.
I had pulled it up. Let me see. I have another one.
Yeah.
Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. I think I have. Maybe it's on Wikipedia.
Right. Because we also have to understand true money is the earth. Let me get that in Ecclesiastes real quick. Served of the field.
Mm-hmm.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 9, it says, moreover, the profit of the earth is for all. The king himself is served by the field. Okay, so the field, the things of the earth are what are true money. And remember, well, I don't think you were with us. We went to the Federal Reserve in Atlanta, and they themselves even tell you before paper money, true money was beaver skin, gold. All right, you know, particular things in the earth, you know, frankincense. The true money is in the earth. The true money is not a paper dollar with the so-called white man's face on it. That's witchcraft. That's an illusion. Okay, so when we inherit the earth, that's going to serve us. All right, and we're going to have it in abundance. Okay, you got
That's
it.
right. So going down into this article, it says features of Solomon's reign. Solomon's prosperity and success were also achieved through ingenious reforms and innovations, such as the improvement of defense measures, the expansion of the rural court, the financial windfall from more sophisticated taxation, labor conscriptions of Canaanites and Israelites, tributes and gifts from foreign countries under the influence of Solomon, and a land and sea trading system that utilized a powerful navy and army to protect assets and trade routes. According to the Hebrew scriptures,
Now,
the
this is
king.
what we have to think. When we think kingdom of heaven, this is what we're going to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Yahawashai is coming to set up righteousness. Yahawashai ain't just coming to sit down and no. Yahawashai is coming to put things in order, man. And when it's all said and done, we'll deal righteously because yeah, the heathen have to be beat over the head with a rod of iron. But there's also this part of it, as the elder said, you know, where the when the righteous are in authority, the people will rejoice. The heathen were rejoicing under King Solomon, man. You know, it's just that he bowed to their gods, which is something Yahushua ain't gonna do, nor any of us. Go ahead.
Right. It says, according to the Hebrew scriptures, the king made silver and gold as common in Jerusalem as stones. And he made cedars as abundant as the sycamores, which are in the lowland.
Right now, just as you can go outside and you see rocks in the streets, okay, well, Solomon's kingdom, all right, where he was at when he was doing his thing, gold was as just a regular dirt rock in the streets. That was gold and silver. Go ahead.
Bro, that means you balling.
That means you got it.
Okay.
Not a
That
word.
means you juiced up.
Right.
Okay. And that's just a prelude to what we gonna have, man.
That's right.
Streets paved with gold. Come on, man.
Right. Right.
Woo. It says
Sweet
King.
trees.
Mm-hmm. That's right. It's gonna be better than when you get that little check at the end of the month. Okay.
Or a tax return.
Oh man. It says King Solomon was also famous for his international relationships, forming alliances with other nearby powerful nations such as Egypt, Moab, Tyre, Arabia, etc. Many of these partnerships were cemented through royal marriages, and the giving concubines to Solomon, eventually gaining him 700 wives and 300 concubines. One of King Solomon's more famous political amorous relationships was the Queen of Sheba. Okay.
Now, he didn't marry her in the script, according to the scriptures. He didn't marry her because a lot of people like to make that doctrine. But Solomon, when he dealt with these women, he dealt with the top heathen women, like the queens of these, like his son Rehoboam was he birthed her by an Ammonite queen, which her father was like a rich, well-off man. All right, when you do the research on it. So Solomon was making, he was going around and he was, David had already beat the heathen into subjection. So he was just going and making trade deals and setting up order and basically dealing.
Yeah.
And getting women.
he wasn't dealing with Bonquisha from the other side of the tracks and trying to act like he was on one. You know what I mean?
Right.
The daughters of kings, man.
Right. That's right.
Important. Okay.
Right.
So it says his relationship with the Queen of Sheba, who visited Israel with a lavish tribute of 120 talents of gold. Okay.
Blessed him.
Blessing, right? And we can pull this scripture if you don't mind.
Yep.
Second Chronicles 9.
Yep. I got it. Second Chronicles 9. Let's see here. Which one is it? Where is it at?
Let's see. Where it says there was no more spirit.
It started at the top, really.
Yeah, I was gonna say it should be at the beginning.
Yep. It says, am I close enough on the thing?
A little bit more zoom action.
Okay.
There we go. That's it.
Okay. It says, and when the Queen of Sheba, which from my research, that's like near Yemen, it says, and the Queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon, she came to prove Solomon with hard questions at Jerusalem with a very great company and camels that bear spices and gold in abundance. She brought him a gift, a care package, and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart. And Solomon told her all his questions, told her all her questions, and there was nothing hid from Solomon, which he told her not.
So she was coming, getting game, learning how he was running his kingdom, learning how he was doing things. Like, okay, how you do this, how you do that. Like, oh man, this is incredible. But she knew to come humbly. And how did she come humbly? Gifts. Showing her, hey, you got it, man. You got it.
Right.
You know.
That's right. And when you look up, go ahead, Salaki.
We'll say that's how these nations are gonna come to us.
Right.
Okay. They're gonna be getting instruction from us. We always talk about how with the second covenant, we're gonna have the law, statutes, commandments written in our heart. The heathens are not. So they're gonna have to be instructed. But along with that instruction is gonna be domination. We're gonna be dominating them. Okay.
Right. This is verse 3. And when the Queen Sheba had seen the wisdom of Solomon and the house that he had built, in the meat of his table, in the sitting of his servants, in the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, his cupbearers also, and their apparel, in his ascent by which he went up into the house of Yahweh, there was no more spirit in her. Woo! She was like, oh my God.
She saw this. She was just like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Right.
I've never seen anything like this.
Right.
You know?
Right.
This is incredible.
Wow. Yeah. It was immaculate.
like when some of you brothers bring their hood chick to your apartment. He's,
What is this?
oh my gosh, Palo Santo. Wow.
I ain't never taste this. What's this, nigga? Spaghetti. So what the hell you doing?
What is this?
Oh, man. Stop.
Go ahead. We go quit. We don't. Go ahead.
Oh, man. Yeah, but for real, she was like, "Oh my good," and this is close to $1 billion. This woman was balling, bro.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't no low level ass. She, she was smelling good. But ultimately she was like, "Oh my goodness." She was even looking at the cupbearers, like, "Wow, who's he? Look what he got on." And this is just a cupbearer.
Yeah.
It says, and she said to the king, "It was a true report which I heard from my own land of thine acts and of thy wisdom. Howbeit I believed not their words until I came, and mine eyes had seen it, and behold, the one half of the greatness of thy wisdom was not told me, for thou exceedest the fame that I heard."
That's
Happy
right. Basically, I heard that you went hard, but this don't even compare to what I heard.
Right.
This ain't even the half of it.
Next level.
Right?
Is that velvet?
Yeah. Is that velvet?
Yeah. Yep. It says, where we at? Happy are thy men, happy are these thy servants, which stand continually before thee and hear thy wisdom. Blessed be the Lord thy God, which delighteth in thee to set thee on his throne and to be king for the Lord thy God, Yahweh thy God, because God loved Israel to establish them forever. She's prophesying. Because Solomon didn't reign forever.
Yep. Yep.
Therefore made he the king over them to do judgment and justice.
That lets you know that they knew about the prophecies, that they knew about the nation of Israel and what the God of Israel had said that they were supposed to have.
Right.
The power of when the nation of Israel came into the land of Canaan, and how that rulership spread through those hundreds of years, how these other nations round about respected it, man. Through King David, through first King Saul.
Right.
Saul, let's not get.
He wasn't no low level cat. He just, he went off.
He was just scary.
Right.
He would get scary sometimes, and the Most High don't like that.
You don't like that, right? That's right. That's right.
So yeah, these other nations knew about it, man. Right. I pulled up this article real quick just to kind of go into a little bit of the numbers. I know you had some of the numbers.
Okay, yeah. Hit that.
I want to go into this a little bit because this is when you type in the Queen of Sheba. It says identified as Sheba. Seba is the kingdom of the queen who travels to Jerusalem to experience firsthand the wisdom of King Solomon. 965 to about 931 BCE. Says the wisdom of King Solomon of Israel. In the biblical tale, she brings him a gift of 120 gold talents, approximately $3,600,000. Okay, so you look at 120 gold talent. A talent is about the weight of a man. It's about 110 pounds or whatever. Something like that. I think that's what it says. So you can type that in. You can see I had already did it right here, right? Let's see. It's clear that an ounce of gold is currently an ounce of gold right now is $2,000, bro. Now 1 pound is 16 ounces. So $2,000 times 16 ounces equals. Look at that. Now you times that 100. Pounds. Look at that, bro. So now you multiply that about 120. Man, these people, these guys are balling, bro. That was just the gold.
That was just the gold.
That was just the gold. We ain't even times and everything else, man.
Right, right.
We ain't even going in on everything else.
It
says, among other gifts, 1 Kings 10 and 10. Okay. And I see a brother pulled up 1 Kings 10 and 2. Okay. Where 1 Kings 10 and 2, the brother YAHAWASHI, Judah Israel, says, and she came to Jerusalem with a very great train, with camels that bear spices and very much gold and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart. And we read that in Chronicles, right? It says, back into the article, it says, the lavish presence of the queen would be in keeping with the wealth of the Sabian monarchy, which was legendary, but there is no evidence outside of the Bible and the latter works mention that she ever existed. And proof of the riches of that, or what she brought in, was whenever Babylon took down the temple of Jerusalem, right, just the ridiculous amounts of gold that they took out.
Right. Right.
So, you know, F what you heard, you can go to the Babylonian Targums, and you can even go into the Assyrian Targums and read about how much money and wealth they had took from the nation of Israel when Israel fell.
Mm-hmm.
And that had started way back. Way back. GMS 2-edged sword said, in my Bible, the 100 talents of gold is 691,200,000. Yeah, it's because you got to times that 3.6 million by 120.
Wow. And that's one trip.
See, this is just one. This is just one, bro.
Yeah,
one talent.
Hiram gave Solomon
20, bro. Let's see that.
Right.
Bro. So that, you know, and that's lowballing it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm being conservative.
Right. Wow. Man. And that was just on a small level. And Hiram, you got to remember, Hiram gave Solomon like 60 talents or 600 talents or something. I forget.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he also gave, man.
Yep. Now, one of the brothers put 50 kilograms. A kilogram is 2.2 pounds. A kilogram is 2.2 pounds. Okay. So you times that 50 by 2.2, that'll give you its weight in pounds. And then, like I said, there's 16 ounces in a pound. 1 ounce of gold currently is over $2,000.
Right.
See? So that was a lot of money, bro. Ridiculous. Now, I want to read a little bit about the incense routes that the Queen of Sheba was a part of, because King David basically ruled over all this stuff. They had to pay tribute from all the riches that they had. Okay? The incense routes in Saba, it says the incense routes, also known as the spice routes, were the paths taken by merchants from southern Arabia to the port of Gaza on the Mediterranean. These trade routes were most profitable between the 8th and 7th century BCE and 2nd century CE, but were established earlier and still in use later, and they're still in use to this day. It says the incense routes covered 1,200 miles, 1,200 miles, and took 65 days to travel one way. Caravans would stop at a different city at the end of each day, exchange goods, and you see why the merchants were taken care of when they travel into a city. Okay, because it took a minute for you to get your stuff there, right? All right. It says caravans will stop at a different city at the end of each day, exchange goods, and rest their camels, and continue on the next morning. Although many goods passed along these routes, the most highly prized were the shipments of frankincense and myrrh. See that?
Yep.
The coast of southern Arabia cultivated these aromatics from the sap of trees, but also seemed to have had access to others from India through the port of Canaan. Goods were transported from the coastal kingdoms north of Maine and from onwards to Gaza. Okay. And it talks about just the Sabians, the Sabians, the Natabeans, which y'all brothers should go into that stuff. Go into that stuff, because when you read about that, it gives you a more clearer understanding of a lot of prophecies and the meaning behind it.
Right.
I want to do a scripture, unless you had a scripture.
I have Tobit real quick.
Okay. Okay.
Tobit chapter 13 and 11. So Solomon was like, goodness gracious, if you just added all of his wealth, you wouldn't really be able to put a number on it. We just went Sheba, Hiram alone. He was a billionaire dang near, right?
Oh, he was beyond a billionaire.
Beyond a billion. Just
he was tens and hundreds of billions. Tens to hundreds of billions of dollars worth of goods, and not only goods, but also services. Because you had people and stuff like that you were moving and controlling.
Mm-hmm. This is Tobit 13 and 11. Many nations shall come from far to the name of the Lord God with gifts in their hands, even gifts to the King of heaven. All generations shall praise thee. All right, with great joy. And also, I wanted to bring this out real quick. When you get the book of Psalms, the 72nd chapter, this is a psalm for Solomon. Okay, and this is something to think about, because this is YAHAWASHI. When you read it, it said, give the king thy judgments, O God, and thy righteousness unto the king's son. Now, when you read it, it talks about how he's gonna, verse 8 says, he shall have dominion also from sea to sea. So if Solomon did what we just read with that little part of the earth that he ruled, imagine YAHAWASHI from sea to sea. Now, this is a psalm for Solomon, but it's talking about him ruling sea to sea and from the rivers of the earth to the ends of the earth. Now, watch this. Verse 10, the kings of Tarshish and the isles shall bring presents. The kings of Sheba and Seba shall offer gifts. So it's going to happen all over again. The kingdom of heaven. Yea, kings shall fall down before him. All nations shall serve him. For he shall deliver the needy when he crieth, the poor also in him that hath no helper. He shall spare the poor and the needy and shall save the souls of the needy. This is the Redeemer. This is the Savior. But it says Solomon. You see that? And he's going to have dominion from sea to sea. So in the kingdom of heaven, the Queen of Sheba, the kings of Sheba, all of them are going to pay even more tribute, bring even more gifts in an even more immaculate fashion, man. Okay, you got it, brother.
All right, man. Just to highlight what the elder talked about, let's go to Isaiah, the 60th chapter. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 5 says, then thou shalt see and flow together, and thine heart shall fear and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. Right? Merchandise. Right? It says the forces of the Gentiles. And we just saw one of the docks in Lebanon get attacked. What was happening there? Trade, weapons trade, goods and services, right? The abundance of the sea. Right? It says the forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee. The multitude of camels shall cover thee. The dromedaries of Midian and Ephah, all they from Sheba shall come. We just read about that, right? They shall bring gold and incense.
Sheba in the house.
Sheba in the house. They shall show that Palo Santo. It says they shall show forth the praises of the Lord, right? All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Nebaoth shall minister unto thee. They shall come up with acceptance on mine altar, right? We don't have those rams, right? And I will glorify the house of my glory. Who are these that fly as a cloud and as doves to their windows? Surely the owl shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy power, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he have glorified thee. The sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee.
Right. They're going to build up the walls. We're going to put them to work. That's what's going to be happening during that 1,000-year period.
That's right.
1,000-year period where it says in Revelation, the 20th chapter, we'll get it in a minute.
You want to grab that?
Yeah, let me get it real quick.
That kind of flows into what we're saying. This is the expectation. So what we're seeing from King Solomon is just a prelude or a small glimpse, of what we're going to see when Yahawashi comes on the scene. It's magnified and glorified with more spiritual power in that day.
And everything is going to be put back in its proper order, man. This is the book of Revelation 20. And I'll start at 4. It says, and I saw thrones. Now, remember real quick, what's that table? I had it up, but if you
how it go, just let me know how it go.
You shall sit at sit at my table.
Okay, I'll find
Israel. Table Israel. It's like in Matthew 22. I'll get it real quick. I think I got it. Luke 22 and 30. And then I'll get that. This is Luke 22 and 28. Ye are they which have continued with me in my temptations, and I appoint unto you a kingdom, even as my Father have appointed unto me. He's going to sit on the throne of David. It says that ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Now, this word for table, okay, because we have to remember the priests were also the bankers of Israel, man. Okay, the priest handled the money. The priests were given the tithes. That's going to happen on a whole nother level under Yahawashi, the high priest. Now, the word table is trapeza, and I'll just get to the point. It says the table stand of a money charger, where he sits exchanging different kinds of money for a fee and paying back deposits. Now, one of the blessings of the nation of Israel, we can't forget, is that we will lend to many nations. You see, Deuteronomy 28 and 12. This is one of the blessings. You got to read them blessings. Sometimes we focus too much on the curses. We got to read these blessings, man. This is coming back. This is coming. The Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heaven, to give the rain unto to thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hand, and thou shalt lend unto many nations and shall not borrow. So right now you have the wicked elite bankers doing it in wickedness. We're going to do it in righteousness. Just, okay? So when you get Revelation 20 and 4, it says, and I saw the thrones, and they cast, they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahawashi and for the word of the Most High, which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Hamashiach for 1,000 years. Now, a lot of people think that that's just it. After 1,000 years, that's it. Well, the scriptures say the kingdom endureth forever. Okay, Daniel, the 2nd chapter, say the kingdom endureth forever. This first 1,000 years period is going to be the 144 reigning with Yahawashi, setting up this order that we're reading about. Okay, and when you read that word, and they reigned, dang, where does it say reign? And they reigned, the word reigned is
Strong key 936. Basiluo. Basiluo.
all right. It says to be king, to exercise kingly power, to reign of the governor of a province. So the Lord is going to set up the Lord in the 144,000. All right. The first fruits, okay, are going to rule and reign for that a period of 1,000 years. This is what we're going to be doing.
Man,
That's why it says, he that overcometh, shall I give him he's going to nations over the head with the rod of iron, because we're going to be putting, okay, this order into the earth, man.
I just want to say this. I hope brothers, you know, I hope brothers that are writing this down, because this is good right here. I'm learning. So make sure you're not just here and you ain't just staring, or you got you playing PlayStation while you listening to it right now. And if I'm talking to you right now, if what I'm saying right now is hitting you, press pause on the PlayStation. Okay, this is good stuff right here.
Right.
Okay,
right.
I just want to say it real quick.
God, it says metaphorically to exercise the highest influence. That's another thing that we have to deal with real quick. The rulership is having influence, control over the people's minds. Government means to govern the mind. We're going to change music. We're going to change water. We're going to change art. We're going to change poetry. We're going to change everything, man. And our influence here in this kingdom, who influence reigns supreme? Esau's. We're going to control ideas. We're going to literally control under YAHAWASHI in righteousness, man. So these men, okay, are going to reign for that 1,000-year period. That's where the heathen nation will be in hardcore captivity. And after that 1,000-year period, that's where Esau loses. That's where he's done, and taken out of the earth. All right. But the rest of the dead, which are the heathen nations, live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. Then we're going to tell them, you go here, you go there, and you just follow our way. But for a 1,000-year period, what you're reading in Isaiah 60 is going to happen, man.
Yeah.
This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection, upon who the second death shall have no power, but they shall be priests of the Most High and of Hamashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. That 1,000-year period will be the Alahayim doing what they did in Genesis. Okay, when they created, but we're gonna basically one day, it's gonna take one day to get all of the elements and everything back in order. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I mean, but that makes so much more sense than what people learn in church, because when you read Revelation, the end of Revelation 18, read Revelation 19, you go into Revelation 20, that makes way more sense. And and it's interesting when you look there, they even precept Ezekiel 38 and 39. So this is not talking about some period of time where the Yahawashi comes back, but then he gets taken down. Yahawashi taken down. Because this is the first resurrection over the second death.
Over the second death, right. Right.
So this is talking about what's coming.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
About what's coming. But that gives you a glimpse of that ultimate rulership, and how all of these nations are going to be flowing and given the forces of the Gentiles, the forces of their enterprise is going to be coming into the nation of Israel and empowering the nation of Israel. Goods, commodities, services, and labor.
That's right, brother.
They will be servants.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, did you bring up something else?
I got this real quick. Daniel 2:44. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. You got it.
Man, I mean, and it's going to consume the other kingdoms and stand forever. Is that not what we're looking for? Right? Okay, so I had this in Revelation chapter 21 real quick. Let me make It's a little bit bigger. Revelation 21 and 22, it says, and I saw no temple therein, for the Lord power almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. Right? Direct access. And it talks about how we're going to be in glorified forms. Right. So we're going to be literally celestial beings on earth. Right? It says, and the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon to shine in it, for the glory of the Most High did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. Right? Those celestial bodies, we're going to have that celestial form shining. Right? It's, and the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it, and the kings of the earth do bring their glory and honor to it, and the gates of it shall not be shut at all by day, for there shall be no night there, and they shall bring the glory and honor of the nations into it. Okay. And there shall in no wise enter into it anything that defileth, neither whatsoever worketh abomination or maketh a lie, but they are which are written in the Lamb's book of life. Everything is going to be moving and being conducted in righteous order. Everything that moves in, everything that moves out is going to have the stamp of approval from YAHAWASHI, so to speak. Okay, it's going to be enriched with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. It's going to function on point. On point. And then I want to go back, and this goes back to what we were reading in Isaiah 60. That's why I read that. Go back to Isaiah 60 and 9 to give more of an understanding of what we just read in Revelation. It says, surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, and unto the name of the Lord thy power, and unto the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls.
That's right.
And the king shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. Is that not what we just read? And they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, that their kings may be brought. Okay, let's get that word forces. Let's get that word forces, right? Right? The word forces of the Gentile, the word is chayal, right? Chayal, Strong's H24 and 28. It says strength, might, efficiency, wealth, army, right? They are going to basically be subservient or a component to make us richer and move better. If you want your house to move better, ain't you gonna get a maid?
Right. Right.
If you want your house to move better, ain't you gonna get a butler? If you want your fields to be better, ain't you gonna have some people out there working it? Right? Or are they not gonna make it increase? When you look at Esau's armies currently, it don't be Esau. It be Jake, other nations, other people doing it for Esau.
Right.
Okay. So, you know, we're looking at that component of, it's not that these nations are going to be on our level, but they are going to be utilized and dominated in the way that the Most High wanted. And it's going to be a glorious thing.
And they're going to love it.
They're going to love it. We're going to love it.
That's right.
You ain't finna be sweeping in the kingdom.
Right. You
ain't finna be doing all that. You ain't got time for all that. You putting together an IKEA bed in the kingdom.
In the kingdom, right.
You're not finna be doing that.
Not gonna do that.
Okay.
We're not bored. You know, so remember a brother asking that we're gonna be bored. We're not gonna be bored. There's no such thing, you know, as being bored, man. We're gonna we're gonna know everything. You know, it's gonna be a whole other level, man. You know, and we, you know, this is just the prelude. We really don't know how it's gonna look.
Yeah.
Just say we know in part and prophesy in part, but these things are just the prelude, and the prophecies give us insight to what's gonna come. And the like this ain't even in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And and that just shows you how far we've been beaten down. Because we don't even know how to have fun outside of work and, like we said, PlayStation.
Big screen.
Like, make life the PlayStation.
Right.
Actually do what you see in real life. You driving dirt bikes and cars in the PlayStation. Go actually do it.
Right. Chariot.
Or whatever, the chariot, or
Woo. It's gonna be on another level. It's gonna be immaculate, man.
You're gonna be too busy saying, "Hey, man, we got this, we got these talents of gold. We're gonna make this. I need you to take that gold, and we're gonna create these water systems, and for my house over here, and da da da. We're gonna do that, and we're gonna move this land over there. I need that land, that section of land over there. I need that to be plowed down. What we're gonna do is we're gonna build a lavish garden, and in that garden there's gonna be arboretum, and in that arboretum we're gonna set up all these different types of plants, and we're gonna have people in sections of the arboretum singing and doing righteous songs and doing that. And then we're gonna have this. Look, bro, you're gonna be in this mountain right here, there's gonna be a hot spring. See, there's a spring right here. We're gonna have that connect with that mountain. So when I go over there, I can just go lay in my hot spring.
Right.
Heal
trees. Yep.
And then over there, I see that's my cattle right there. See, I got this, I got that, we got this, we got that. We're gonna connect it. Bro, you're gonna be moving, bro. That's just a little section of your land.
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
YAHAWASHI wants on a way bigger scale. We got a council with YAHAWASHI tomorrow, and we're gonna talk about whatever. I want to be a part of that council, bro.
That's right. That's right. That's why he said we're going to sit at the table, Lord willing.
Okay? Come on. Nation stuff.
I got a precept.
You got, champ. You got
Psalms 144:11. Rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is the right hand of falsehood. That's Esau. Why do we want to be delivered from him? That our sons may be as plants grown up in their youth, that our daughters may be as cornerstones polished after the similitude of a palace. Woo. Our garners may be full, affording all manner of store, that our sheep may bring forth thousands. You can't do that with Esau ruling. And 10,000 in our street. That our oxen may be strong to labor, that there be no more breaking in, nor going out, that there be no complaining in our streets. No, you're gonna be complaining, man. We're gonna be good, man. It's gonna be a beautiful thing, man. Did you have anything else you wanted to bring out in that Isaiah?
A little bit more, actually, just a little bit.
Hit it, and then I have a few things, and that's it.
Okay. I got when you go down to Isaiah 16:12, it says, "For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted." Okay, so they ain't gonna be on the same level. The glory of Lebanon, and we seeing that right now, shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, the box together to beautify the palace of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. Right?
Oh man,
that's where the Most High rests. Right? It says.
He said the earth is his footstool.
It's his footstool, and that it's gonna be right there with Jerusalem. It's gonna be glorious. It said, and that's why it's not gonna be comparable to the sun and the moon, because it's gonna be more celestial and heavenly than even the sun and the moon. Okay, It says, "The sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee." You can read about this in the book of Baruch, the 4th chapter. "And all they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the soles of thy feet, and they shall call thee the city of the Lord, the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shalt suck the breast of kings. And thou shalt know that I, the Lord, am thy Savior, and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. For brass I will bring gold, and for iron I will bring silver, and for wood, brass, and for stone, iron. I will also make thy officers peace, and thy exactors righteousness. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders. But thou shalt call thy walls salvation, and thy king praise. You see that? And this flows into what you read in the book of Revelation, the 21st and 22nd chapter. And you have these Christians that want to tell you that the Gentiles are going to be on the same level as the Israelites. Well, the precept to that in Revelation, we're reading it, and it's telling you that we're going to have dominion over the Gentiles.
Over the Gentiles, right.
We're going to be over them.
Right.
They're going to be bringing us their riches, and they're going to be subject to us.
Right. Right.
I don't want that because they've been beaten into slavery so much. The thought of reigning over somebody or controlling something scares them.
Right. Right. Right.
What about the white people? We need them. They got to tell us what to do.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna be gone. You ain't gonna be worried about that no more.
Nah.
When it comes back.
That's right, brother. That's right.
Okay. Verse 19 says, the sun shall be no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee, but the Lord shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy God and thy glory, right? That alludes to that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Because what do you get from the sun and the moon? You get a knowledge of the Lord about times and seasons and understandings and the ways of the Heavenly Father. That's what you get from the celestial bodies. Well, that's going to be in you now.
It's going to be in you. That's right, brother.
Okay? You're going to become, that's why it talks about in Corinthians that we're going to get those heavenly bodies. The glory of the Lord is going to shine through us when the Lord comes back. We're going to be now celestial beings on earth. Okay? Verse 4 says, the sun shall no more go down, neither shall thy moon withdraw itself, for the Lord shall be thine everlasting light, and the days of the morning shall be ended. And there's no telling how the firmament and the heavens are going to work, and how the seasons and how everything's going to be. We know in part and we prophesy in part. Okay? Thy people shall, thou also shall be all righteous. Ain't gonna be no more June bug and boo boo and all that is gonna be gone. Thy people shall be all righteous. They shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. Right? I will hasten it in his time. That's what we fight for, man. And that's what when you get a glimpse of King Solomon's kingdom and how much more magnified is going to be the kingdom of the Lord.
That's right.
Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to finish on that. And brothers can read more in the book of Micah, the 4th chapter. We always go into the book of Isaiah, the 2nd chapter.
It's a lot.
It's a lot
of precepts too, you know.
Yep. We talk about Isaiah 14, Psalms, the 2nd chapter. Okay. We mentioned Revelation 21 and 22. Giving a glimpse of like, man, we're going to be ruling. Okay.
Right.
Elder.
Yep. I wanted to bring this out real quick. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 2 and 4. This is Solomon speaking. I made me great works, and I builded me houses. I planted me vineyards. And that's one of the things when you study Solomon, he was well versed in botany, which is the study and understanding of plants. He could look at a plant and tell you what's in it, or everything about it. Animals, he knew how to communicate with them to a degree. Okay. It says like he could, like from what they say, he could make a bird land on his hand. Like he knew he had that much wisdom. All right, and we're going to get all of that back and more under YAHAWASHI. It says, I made me gardens and orchards. I planted trees and in them all kind of fruits. It's Solomon. I made me pools of water. Jake be bragging on a little pool. Solomon already did that, but even in a higher fashion. How much YAHAWASHI? The ocean is going to be the lakes are going to be the pool. All right, in your house, you like R. Kelly. That nigga had a rainforest in his house. We're going to do that in reality, man. Okay, I made me pools of water to water there with the wood that bringeth forth trees. I got me servants and maidens, and had servants born in my house. I also had great possessions of great and small cattle, above all that were in Jerusalem before me. I gathered me silver and gold, and the peculiar treasures of kings and of the provinces. I got me singers and women singers. I got me men singers and women singers, and the delights of the sons of men as musical instruments, and that of all sorts. So was I great and increased more than all that were before me in Jerusalem. Also my wisdom remained within me. More, and whatsoever mine eyes desires, I kept not from them. I withheld not my heart from any joy, for my heart rejoiced in all my labor. This was my portion of all my labor. How much more in the kingdom of heaven, man? It's gonna smell good, ain't gonna stink. The righteousness leads to a sweet smell and savor too. The air gonna smell good. Everything. We're gonna have symphonies. You like music? Hey, the music is gonna be an upgrade. We're gonna upgrade everything, man. You know, look at it like that. When you think of the kingdom of heaven, you know, as much as brothers love music, think about putting music back in the right frequency to where it actually helps people. These things were all created to forward mankind, humanity. But it was a chosen people chosen to put these things in order. And on the earth, it started with Adam. And on the earth, we're going to start with YAHAWASHI when the kingdom comes, man. So I just wanted to bring that out.
Yeah. So we got to come into that legacy, man. The sons of God, right, underneath who the world calls Jesus Christ, but YAHAWASHI is his name. Okay. Your heartless Judah, Israel put 1 Peter 2:9, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, an holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who have called you out of darkness into his marvelous light.
Right.
Okay, that's what we're supposed to be walking into. And like we talked about, the only way that we're going to achieve this level of kingdom is through wisdom, is through obedience and wisdom. So, you know, do you have anything else?
This is GMS Vegas, 2nd Esdras 4:27, and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in the time to come. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities. You know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man.
Good stuff. Good stuff, man. That's what we're walking into, man. We're walking into riches that we don't even understand. Another level. Another level. Okay. Way more than the stimulus check.
Right. We gonna smell good. We gonna look good. Our women gonna be beautiful. We gonna be able to, you know, give them the world. Hey, I'm gonna be. Hey, you can't call me a trick in the kingdom. I always say that to brothers. It ain't tricking if you got it. My wife decked out. My children gonna be decked out. My island's gonna be decked out.
That's right.
We'll be chilling, man. It's gonna be a beautiful thing. So speak that into existence more, you know, as well. So.
Hey man, Lord willing, you Akian were edified, man. It was beautiful being able to come and sup with you with everybody, man. What we're gonna say, we're gonna give all praise and glory once again to Yahawah by Hashem, YAHAWASHI by Hashem, Rakah HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to you, Akian, man, out there pushing the word in sincerity and truth. Shalom.
Shalom.